Hello, welcome back. It's the Mac. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to another Panzer campaign showcase. This is from one of the Panzer campaign games that are hypothetical from the great Wargame design studio. So, I haven't showcased this game. It was actually recently, for a couple of weeks ago, part of their. They have these. Game of the Week showcase. They pick a title and they knock off $10 to entice people to buy a great game of a price reduced. So this is Operation Sealion, 1940. There, it was a planned attack to actually attack and conquer England after the fall of France, Denmark and Norway and all the whole sort of west buffer zone towards America there. So there was planned for an attack. There was actually drawn up plans and everything, and it was sort of just waiting sort of Hitler's attention, I would say, to kick it off. But it was decided not to be done since the cost of it would probably have been huge in both military material and manpower, and the scope of it would have been pretty huge. And Hitler was more obsessed to the east than to the west. So, and many scholars and historians and documentaries and books and lots of stuff have been written about this. Would it have been possible? What was it? Ever a reality to pull something like this off? And many argue that it probably wouldn't have been able, because England at the time had the words, next to America, I would say, and Japan maybe, the world's most powerful navy. And to get across that body of water with such a mighty fleet in the area, and the RAF was as well pretty powerful. I mean, they fended off the Germans, the Battle of Britain. So all that, they basically had to knock all that stuff out before they even have a chance to get across the channel and attack the mainland, where there would be, forces waiting for them, and artillery, guns, shore batteries, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it would probably take a pretty long time to pull it off. It's a huge undertaking. But who knows? I mean, if Germany at the time was really powerful, they had diverted all their attention to just, conquer the British Isles, they might have maybe had pulled it off. Who knows? And, of course, made some more strategic, wise decisions regarding the Royal Air Force and the Navy and so forth, to knock that stuff out. I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, but the cool thing is that there are games, war games and stuff, about this operation. Says, what if it happened? So this is the game, man. A bunch of cool scenarios comes with. We're gonna have a quick look at it. It's actually, I haven't had much time to look at it off camera, so I'm basically going to be doing it with you guys here on the channel. Check it out. So this game has been out for a long time, man. This was back in John Tiller's catalog and stuff. It's been around, but for me personally, I haven't been that much interested in hypothetical campaigns. I'd rather play what actually happened. But it's kind of a cool simulation and a cool take on it. If you want to just fight something during World War II, and what if this happened, and see the forces involved, and disregarding all that I just said, making sure that the the Royal Navy is knocked out, and the RAF is knocked out, and the Germans actually got across and got their boots on the ground, and what kind of forces could be waiting to fight them on the mainland there. So, right. So what it looks like, so like all the other games, So this is actually the latest version of the Panzer campaigns. This and Spring Awakening, which I'm currently covering as well, is at the 404 version. So all Panzer campaign titles are going to go up, be bumped up to the next level, so to speak. So what is the 404 version? So I had to look around here. So these are the latest, changelog PDF regarding the 404 version here. So it doesn't say that there's all that much. There's some bug fixes and there's some enhancements. So apparently it fixed the crash due to registry settings for the classic toolbar, which no longer exists. So because you can't have the classic toolbar anymore, you can only have the new one. Prevents Windows 11 by replacing something audio, direct sound, and splash screen. Fix the crash of desktop and game corruption when playing network or direct play. Fix the rear crash. So there's a couple of bugs, but the enhancements are units are not penalized with night fatigue when moving by rail. So that before that was apparently the thing. I haven't actually experienced myself, but I mean, in the odd case that you are playing scenarios where you are moving lots of troops by rail, yeah, they wouldn't not be. Maybe the train conductor would be fatigued, but not the soldiers. Dynamic NATO counter drawing on the hex info display. Dynamic NATO counter drawing on the hex info display. Okay, this is the same as Panzer Battle implementation. The NATO counter on the unit card will highlight when appropriate. Okay. What else? New unit boxes to improve legibility of text. New unit box back image to improve the legibility of text. Old unit boxes available if required. These are in the National Directory. Okay, so you can get them back if you don't like the new stuff. We're gonna look at that. We're gonna have a look at what it looks like. Many of you guys are following my the Panzer campaign's Spring Awakening will see that the new sort of boxes there. So, and this is from the patch 403. The thick bugs. So these are old change logs there. So the almighty notes that comes with the game is pretty good. 15 pages only, but to read more about this Operation Sealion, just a few clicks away in Google and YouTube, and you will get your fill of information, or just pick up the old book. So they go on about here, talking about, why they did it, and some of the stuff that I briefly mentioned before. The hard things they had to overcome to actually pull off such an operation. So there's some books and stuff that could be good. Lots of stuff have been written about it. They could read. So they have different campaigns, of course. These are what many people want to look at when they fire this game up. So it says, players familiar with Panzer campaign titles have become accustomed to the file naming conversion of using the number sign and the number string at the start of the scenario file. So that scenario are listed in chronologically after initial startup scenario. We see line 40, we departed from this slightly because we are presenting two different campaign periods for the invasion. But we want to lead with a more historical September invasion, which I've been focusing so far in the notes. So there was different dates planned for this invasion. So this September plan has utilized the historic landing schedule. So they have different, these were the schedules they were supposed to, at 6 o'clock the assault boats were going to go. The barges towed by assault boats, and then, so this was the setup. And this would be S+1. That would be like D-Day +1 basically, but yeah. So the original September Sealion campaign was based on historical plans created before Panzer Campaign's engine had the strategy operation feature. Yeah, so you have this the strategic dialogue. You can choose what kind of version you want to play, different kind of strategic decisions It's pretty cool. Uh, could be a difficult fight for the attacking Germans depending on a skilled allied player. Okay, so we've created July 1940 campaign, one with four strategic operations. Here the Axis players had some choices of where in England he wanted to attack and whether he preferred to spread out his forces over a wide area and overwhelm or attempt to overrun the British in several areas. So, pretty cool. Note the number of only Axis reinforcements as the operation of the German select also include Allied units that will respond to the option. Okay. So there's some differences than in the others. So they talk about that. The parameters have a huge effect in the game as it sells the Axis player with heavy losses before the army even pulls itself to shore. So, different kinds of what you choose to do. So with respect to the two campaigns, July and September, aside from September being deemed as the more historical choice, there are differences in terms of the PDT files for each. So they have different daylight per turns, of course, air interdiction. Okay, interdiction effects. There's some air interceptions, unit recovery, airdrop losses, invasion losses. This is probably one of the most important ones here. We couldn't have the Germans pouring ashore like Allies did in Sicily or Normandy, so we set the invasion losses at 70%. It's pretty high, of the units with up to maximum 60 of the forces. Yes, but when we felt it was justified and necessary both of the gameplay and recreate what losses for the German units in English channels might be. For the easier July campaign, the unit percentage dropped to 50, the maximum to 40. Okay, so that's pretty cool implementation, I gotta say. So it goes on, players familiar with the series and the effect of the storms. Once avoid storm altogether, it's September campaign. Advise not to use the optional rule program weather. Okay. Another effect player will find in campaigns is supply variations. We used 5 drops in the supply, total 25% of the Axis as time progressed, and this reflects the difficulty we felt the Germans would have supplying the army over the beachhead. Yes, so supply would probably be a huge problem for the Germans in this one. Infiltration. A final note on the campaign, not only are there 2 periods, September and July, but also there is what I call regular or the short campaign, which is not really short at all when you consider the number of units and the 107 turns it entails, but more and more we are seeing players enjoying PBM even on larger campaigns, and we felt 107 turns, it might be something players could actually complete. Yeah. I mean, look at this, 378 turns is the long campaign there, okay. So I really felt it was too long and would require much higher victory levels, yeah. So pretty cool, we're gonna have a look at that. So here's the scenario list. They got Sealion campaign. So let's see, is that the same? 0924 dash Sealion is September short. That's this must be the big historical one. Sealion long. Sealion September long. Sealion all ashore on D+4. And Sealion dry feed campaign. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Then they have the Sealion on July and Sealion campaign 13th of July. And then they have all these smaller scenarios for all the different landings where they landed. So we're gonna have a look at that. So yeah, here's an even more in-depth description of the scenarios. So the Sealion September short, 24th to 10th of October. Yeah, it's going to be the first one there, right? So this is a short version of the grand campaign for players not wanting to play in its entirely. Okay, so there's details. This is the long one. What about this? All ashore. What does that mean? After the initial 3 days of Operation Sealion, the Germans were firmly ashore. They'd taken considerable losses from the crossing and from strong counter-offensives from the British and Commonwealth troops, but the Allied reserves were becoming hard to find. Most of them had been rushed to crush the invasion on the beaches. The Germans, on the other hand, were now expecting their strongest formation, the Panzer and motorized divisions, if the weather held. Cool. Sealion dry feet. The past week had been the most vicious fighting of the war take place in southeast England. Although the Germans had expanded their beachhead, it really could not be called secure. Indeed, it was decidedly fragile in places. Both sides were getting worn down, but both were a little optimistic, the British because of their ability to halt the forward progress of the Germans. And the Panzers there, right? Sealion, so then they have Sealion campaign 13th of July. Army Elite at Dover. So that must be one of those. Yeah. Cool. 16th Army Elite at Dover. The Germans were well aware of the significant port of Dover, as were the British. Not only would it afford them a port for their follow-up troops to disembark, but the impact on the morale of the Britons would be tremendous with this loss. The close proximity of two landing zones, B and C, also afforded a really opportunity to require good route to London through Ashford. The elite German 16th Army was entrusted with the vital task. Cool. So it's all, these are all the different scenarios then. They got some dedicated to head-to-head as well. Yeah, so quite a few scenarios. I like it. Yeah, what about this? Rommel versus Monty, round 1. Reading, west of London, July 22nd. The German High Command, though they had identified a soft spot in GHQ line to the southeast of Reading. As a result, most of Panzer Corps, which had landed the day before, moved to the west to seize Reading. Rommel was leading the 7th Panzer Division straight into Monty's sector. Reading was the prize. Reading was the prize. Can the British hold on until reinforcements reach them? Size small. Axis human versus Allied AI. Cool. All right. So that's all the notes, man. 15 pages there. I like it though. Interesting. You also get the old getting started with it. I think I might have played this actually off camera. Yeah, it was a tough one, man. Actually, it wasn't that hard. It was kind of easy now that I remember it. You just sort of got these units isolated and sort of destroyed them. So it wasn't that hard, but it gives you an idea how to attack bunkers and stuff. So they also have these with them. These come with the game. So these are the German invasion plans of July 1940. So you can see what's going on here. 8th Panzer, 29th Motorized was there. You have the 10th Panzer, 29th Motorized, some 3rd Panzer Division. All right, and all these are infantry. 30th, 20th. Lots of infantry here, and some more Panzers there. And what about the September one? A lot more scaled down, man. Mostly infantry here. Probably some reinforcements coming in, though. What else? What else? It's the usual stuff you get with it, you know. Manuals and stuff. Let's get into the game, man. Let's have a look. Yeah, so let's look at some of the scenarios here. So this would be the short version of the September campaign. Okay, wow, look at this. So 1940, after defeating the best Europe could offer, Germany massed its troops ready to cross the English Channel. The historical course of events led Hitler to never taking the gamble to utilize Operation Sealion, the actual plan to take England. Generally speaking, there are two theories for the landing to have taken place. This September scenario uses the historical landing plan. All right. Default there. I'm not sure if this is actually scripted to play versus Dual opponent? Doubt it. Probably would say. So this is the alternate version. This is the huge one, 378 turns. Jeez, that's huge. This was the all ashore. And that was the dry feet in day 7. That's more doable. These would probably be playing, head to head. And this was the Sealion, the 13th, yeah. Bit smaller. And then you have these where they were landing here, Dover. Germans were well aware of the significance of the port of Dover, as were the British. Not only would it afford them a port of their own, to follow up the troops to disembark, but the impact on the morale of the Britons would be tremendous with its loss. The close proximity of 2 landing zones, B and C, also offered a really opportunity to acquire a good route to London through Ashford, the elite of the German 16th Army. Cool. 18 turns. I'm definitely going to be playing something like this to see what it's like. Let's open some of the big ones here. Okay, so this is a shorter version. It's actually huge. Let's do the huge historical one. Let's have a look at it, man. It's probably massive. Oh, let's see. Air units are available. Reinforcements have arrived. All right, so this is the German player. Whoa, look at the size of the thing. Hold on. Woo! Wow. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, so I think there were different kinds of it. There was something that was... Some landings here. Folkestone, I think. Some landings down here. If I'm not mistaken. Planned. And Eastbourne. So look at those maps again. Yeah, this. So yeah, it was Brighton, Eastbourne, Hastings. Here's a Folkestone. Pretty cool, man. Wow. Yeah. All right. So they are different. Portraits. Definitely. British Home Guard. Morale E, man. D. Okay. Where are the elite forces then? What's this? What's waiting inland? What kind of divisions are we dealing with here? What's going on here? What's this? 7th Brigade. 7th Brigade. 2nd New Zealand Force. All right. They're pretty badass. Morale B and stuff. These would be defenses. There's got to be more stuff here. Here's something. So this is in the Home Guard. Okay. Spread out there. All right. So mostly sort of defense going on here. BDE, the 2nd London Brigade. Okay. Yeah, these guys are regulars. They're, morale C and stuff. What's this? Wow, the map is huge, man. The map is huge. What's going on over here? Portsmouth. Lots of forces, man. Look at this strings of defense going on here, man. Wow, look at this. Look at the size. London. Whoa, if I zoom in. Woo. Woo, it's pretty cluttered. Wow. 1st Canadian Infantry Division. Okay, here we go. Spread out. Okay. Wow, look at this. It's insane. What's this? 2nd Canadian Infantry Division. Okay, this is going to be... Here's something. What do we have here? 1st Armored Brigade. 20th Armored Brigade. 1st Armored Division. Nori. All right. Okay, we got some really shitty tanks here, man. A-13 cruisers, but this was what they had at the time. Wow, look at the size of this. It's huge. What's going on up here? Oh, here's some stuff coming in. Okay. What's this? 43rd Infantry Division. It's on the move. That is a huge division. 128th Brigade. 130th Brigade. All right, so they're coming down. There's probably lots arriving as well. Yeah, these are the Germans. Axis. Lots of allied stuff coming as well. Auxiliary home forces. Mostly Germans, though. Wow. Look at all the text. Look at this St. Mary in the Marsh. Wow. So let's just... First Sturm Luftlanden. What's that? Oh, the paratroopers. 15 guys. Okay. Okay, they made it. 126 men. 24 guys. 83. Okay, they got shot at. Yeah, so the Germans landed. The plan was to land some parachutes, of course, behind, just like the Allies did on D-Day. You know, dropping the parachuters behind the defensive lines, so to cause chaos and take out reconnaissance and stuff, take out gun positions. Let's open something else. So that was the. What about the smaller one? How's that? No. It would probably be the same size, yeah, but just fewer turns. 170 turns. Yeah, let's open shore on day 4. What does that one look like? Loads of stuff here. Okay. So look at the map. Wow. Boom. Here they have landed here. Wow, look at all this. Okay, now we're talking. What's going on? Who's this? Heights. What is he? 8th Corps. 9th Army. Army Group A. Boom. Yeah, he's in charge of a lot. What do we got here? We have the 6th Mountain Division. Yeah, they landed. Were supposed to land, yeah. They were committed to this fight. What else? So these are all pioneers and stuff, okay. Wow, lots of forces here, man. Well, my headquarters. What's this? 26 Infantry Division. Here we have Hansen, 9th Corps, 10th Corps. We have some Panzer 3A. Pretty big force here. What's this? 34th Infantry Division. Here's the man himself, von Manstein. Morale C. Okay. I thought he would be like an A commander, but auxiliaries. Schobert. 1st Mountain Division. Wow, that's a lot of forces, man. All right, what's coming down here? The Canadians. 21st Tank Brigade. Valentine 1 tanks. Okay, so they've landed here. Okay, they haven't taken Folkestone yet. They're all, the garrison is isolated there. Interesting. Wow, okay. So look, what about this? Dry feet, day 7. Interesting. Okay, so it's sort of expanded a bit. This is where they make a big push. Look at the fatigue levels, man. Some units have high fatigue. Some Stugs. Wow, that's huge. Okay, so those are the big ones. Actually, they have this as well. The July landing, yeah. So look at that. Strategic decision time reached. Yeah, so now you get to choose what we saw there in the notes. So you have invasion variants of East Sussex and Kent landings. 217 reinforcements. You have Sussex and Kent landings. 253. East Anglia, East Sussex and Kent landings, or Hampshire. So your opponent wouldn't know what you choose if you play this head to head. So that's kind of a cool thing. Where would the Germans make their main effort and stuff? So pretty cool. You make a strategic decision. So let's take this, for instance, number 4. Reinforcements have arrived. Yeah, so now our reinforcements will arrive at that given location there. Let's just see the first one. Let's see what we get. Okay, we get Pioneers, all right. Okay, so they're sort of already on board there. Interesting. 9.2-inch guns there. Look at this. Siege battery. Cool. Yeah. So as you can see, pretty cool stuff, man. So then they have, I'm not going to open these because I might choose one of these to play. So one of these would definitely be fun to play. Dover, Eastbourne, all these when they've broken down the different locations, the fights for it. Lots on Ashford here. So these with the A are head to head. And the B, I think that is tend to play Allied human versus the AI. So they could be scripted, specifically. Dorking, East Anglia, right hook to King's Cross. Hampshire, Colchester, Maidstone, Reading. 10 turns. Wow. So pretty cool. I mean, so it's sort of made I mean, it's definitely something, definitely made to play the main event, I would say, in this. And it's good that they've actually included some shorter campaigns for those who don't want to play 378 turns on PBM. 170 is kind of doable, if you commit yourself, definitely. But 378, man, that is a huge commitment. And by the looks of it, it's a lot of forces, man, to keep track of. A lot would just be static defense, though. I wonder how much it would be. Yeah, lots would be fixed for the British player, I would imagine. Yeah, lots of these defensive lines are probably just fixed, and you will have a few mobile divisions to sort of move around. So here you have the First Armored Division. That's one we checked out before. So you have allies have a few divisions they can use. But they probably will have to rely a lot on the defensive belts to hold back the Germans. So they would be fatigued and damaged and stuff. So I think this would be probably pretty hard to pull off as Germans, man. This would probably take a lot of luck and planning to pull off, I would imagine. But cool. So I'm not sure I'm going to dive in more in this. It's basically your average Panzer campaigns title, but with a hypothetical one. I've covered a lot of them on the channel, but it'd be fun to try something, different out, something that, never happened, but could have. So the user manual is extensive now. It's 241 pages, so it's a pretty big manual these days, but it's very comprehensive. It's got everything in it. So I wonder what kind of optional rules they have, if there's anything new. I think it's the same as in all the standard now. Manual defensive fire, turn to fire values. Yeah, I think these are all the same as the default now. That's going to be coming in at every title. Yeah, so I'm going to try something out here. If you by looking at the scenarios there, if there's anything you want to try out. It looks like many of these are actually doable as a let's play. They're, between 10 to 18, 20 turns. I think that's pretty doable. But the campaigns, man, that's probably the ultimate test and the real fun stuff to try out. Yeah, so I think I'm going to wrap this introduction up. I think that's mostly what's covered on it. I didn't talk a lot about the historical behind this, partly because I'm not really that familiar with, what went down. I just know the basics of it, everything we read and seen in documentaries and stuff, that it was a planned invasion. It never happened, and, they probably considered it at one time, but then they were more, keen on fighting the Russians and the expanding eastwards, and they thought maybe, they could keep Britain in check by just, they were on their island, they won't bother us and stuff. And of course, this is before the United States declared war on Germany, so the United States wasn't actually in the war at this stage, so they would probably think different. They never saw that coming, the might of the American, production and military machine kicking off their helping out with it, with all the stuff. They sent all the help, all the Lend-Lease stuff that came to help the English out, and the Russians as well. So it was sort of early days, and I think Hitler just was so eager to strike eastwards and start the big campaign versus the Russians there, the Soviets. So this was probably, a side note. They had plans for it, but never really pulled it off. Partly that was the Battle of Britain, I would imagine, the attack on to see, can we cripple them can we bomb them into submission? Can we destroy them, And I think I read somewhere that they were actually pretty close. If the Germans really knew how close they were to actually cripple the British Air Force completely, but they switched to bombing cities and terrorized populations instead, and that was their downfall, because basically the British become more stubborn and fueled their hatred for their enemy, and partly the Royal Air Force was actually spared. They could recover and move their their bases and stuff, and produce more aircraft to replace their losses and stuff. While the Germans were busy bombing, towns and villages and stuff like that. So, I mean, could have happened, could be possible, but never happened. So, so I'm gonna wrap it up there, and I'm gonna do a let's play there. So if you saw that previous page of this, or I could bring it up again. Scenarios. If there's anything here you want me to try out, I'll consider it and have a go at it, and we'll see how this plays out. It's gonna be kind of exciting actually to see what kind of forces and how hard it's gonna be to get out. And maybe they might have made some AI improvements for the past campaigns as well, I would imagine. Even though it doesn't say that in the changelog, but I think they have, they're trying to do that in all their games. So I'm going to wrap it up here, man, and I hope you guys are going to be enjoying this Let's Play, and see if you would be interesting to acquire this game, even though it's not a real campaign. It's a hypothetical one, but still. So thanks for watching, man. I will see you in the next part. Have a good one.